After the weekend, and I'm cooking dinner. It's still kind of early here in New York. It's about 3:30, maybe a little earlier. And I'm going to cook dinner now, put it in the oven, actually have it completely done, and then it'll take me about 3 minutes when it's actually time to eat, because it finally stopped raining here and I want to go outside and walk the dogs, and I just don't want to have to worry about it later. So this way, when Steve comes home later, we can eat together, and it'll take me about 2 minutes. So, what are we making? We are making a sheet pan dinner, which you've probably seen me make before with different things. A sheet pan dinner is an awesome thing. It's a sheet pan with all your food on top of it, put in the oven, one pan only. And then what I do is I put a sheet of parchment paper on top of my pan, so not only is it easy to make, but it's easy to clean up. So I am making chicken fajitas in one pan, this pan, no skillets, no bowls, no nothing. Throwing it all on top of here, tossing it in the oven. Gonna make the fajitas that way. The chicken's gonna be on here, the onions, the peppers, everything's gonna be all spiced up in a great little sauce on this pan. When I pull it out later on, I'm gonna heat up some tortillas. And what I have are grain-free, made with almond tortillas. So I'm gonna have a grain-free, paleo-friendly, everything-friendly, healthy meal made with one pan. And it's going to be awesome. So, chicken fajitas, this is what we're going to do. The only thing I did so far, because I want to show you how fast this is cut up my chicken. I have about 2 pounds. It's about 8 boneless chicken thighs, 8 organic boneless chicken thighs, because for me, if I'm going to spend my money on organic anything, chicken is one of those things. Because chicken is one of those things that if it's not organic, it is pumped up with so many hormones and antibiotics, and I don't want that crap in my system, and you shouldn't either. And if you can't afford the organic, I urge you to get the ones that are antibiotic free and hormone free. This is 2 pounds, about 8 chicken thighs, boneless, and all I did was cut them up. I didn't cut them up fine. I didn't cut them up into little tiny pieces, just so they're bite-sized. And I'm just putting that right on top of my sheet pan, right on top. Sit, there it is, all in a big lump, right there. You'll notice that I cut it up on this. I have beautiful wood cutting boards, but I cut it up on this, my piece of crap yellow cutting board. Because anytime you're using chicken, you got to keep it away from anything else. The reason I cut this up beforehand, usually I do everything in front of you, is because I would have to sit here and scrub my hands after I touch the chicken before I do anything else. So here we go. 8 chicken thighs cut up right here. Now, I'm going to drizzle. By the way, while I'm talking about chicken, let me tell you something. Chicken is one of those things that is actually really good for you. You know, everybody eats chicken thinking it's leaner than steak and it's better for you and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it is. But chicken is actually one of those things that can actually lessen arthritic pain. I bet you didn't know that. It actually can help you lessen the inflammation in your joints, so it can help with arthritic pain. It's also really good for weakness, not general fatigue like we all seem to have, but the weakness that comes after childbirth or after surgery. Chicken is one of those things in Chinese medicine that we prescribe after those kind of things to hearten you up a little bit. Okay. I'm putting a little bit of olive oil on top of my chicken. I'd say that's about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons. Okay, notice I'm not touching anything yet. I'm just putting it on top of the chicken. Now I'm going to add my spices. I'm taking some chili powder. I have in my cabinet a million kinds of chili powder. I have really spicy chili powder. I have chipotle chili powder. I have regular chili powder. This one's not even open yet, so I'm going to have to stab it with a knife. Hang on a second. To open this. This is just a regular, everyday chili powder. And what I'm going to do is take about a tablespoon of that. Now you'll notice, I know, I don't measure. To me, a tablespoon is about a palmful. There we go. And I'm going to sprinkle that all over the oil on top of the chicken and cover that back up. I know myself, if I don't cover these spices back up as I'm using them, I will use them again for the second time because my mind is always elsewhere. So I cover it up and put it to the side. Cumin. I'm going to put in a little cumin. I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of cumin. Again, not measured, but about a teaspoon. My rule of thumb is I usually put in about 3 times as much chili powder as cumin in anything, in a chili, in a stew, and in my fajitas. There we go. The next thing I'm putting in is smoked paprika. Now I know this is a spice that a lot of you don't have in your cabinets, but it is awesome. Oh my God, it smells so good. It gives everything a great smoky flavor. Sometimes chipotle powder can do that also, but chipotle powder is much more spicy than this. So I'm going to put in just about, depending on how spicy, because this is a little spicy, I'm going to put in about half a teaspoon of this. Because if it was just for me or for me and my son, I would make it spicy. But Steve's a little bit of a baby when it comes to spice, so I'm not going to put in a lot of it. So I put in about a half to 3/4 of a teaspoon of that. Next, I'm going to put in some garlic powder. I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of garlic powder. Notice I'm not using fresh garlic. This is the easiest meal in the world. Everything is coming out of my drawer right onto the chicken. There we go with that. Now I'm going to put in turmeric. Not only will this be so good for you, because turmeric, as you know, relieves all inflammation in the body. It is one of the most awesome things ever. It relieves pain in your joints, pain in your muscles, intestinal inflammation, but it's going to give my fajitas the most gorgeous color. I'm going to put in about a teaspoon of turmeric. Can you see how yellow that is? It's going to make this chicken look amazing, and honestly it's not going to flavor it all that much because I have all the chili powders in there, so it's a good call. Salt. Big proponent of sea salt. Put in sea salt. I'm going to sprinkle in about a teaspoon of sea salt on top of here, and then I'm going to put in a bunch of grinds of fresh pepper. You want to see something funny here? At least I think it's funny. This is my pepper mill, this little pepper mill that they issued us in cooking school when I was in cooking school a billion years ago. We each had to pick on the first day of class a color. I picked green, and they gave us these little wraps to put all over our equipment because by the end of the day, the kitchen would look like a bomb exploded, and this is how you could find your stuff. I still have my pepper mill with my green thing on it. Okay, I like a bunch of pepper, so I'm putting that on it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, see if I have any more spices back here. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm going to take my hands, and I'm going to mush this up. Now, I know you can't see, but here, I'm really taking it with my hands and mushing it up while keeping it on the paper. And I just want to get it so everything is coated in these delicious spices with the oil. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's only food. That's what my cooking teacher used to say. It's only food, not rocket science, so don't be afraid of it. I'm going to spread it out so it's in one layer on this sheet. There we go. And I'm going to only use about half of this pan. See, I left half of the pan empty. Now, you have to excuse me because I really have to wash my hands. There we go. That never happened to me before. Okay, washed my hands. Now I have my chicken fajitas all seasoned up right here. The next thing I'm going to do is cut up a couple of bell peppers. I bought a yellow one and a red one. And I'm looking for my knife. Here we go. And I'm going to cut those up. I know I've showed you how to cut bell peppers the easy way before, but I will do it again because I just think it saves so much time. Cut off the top, cut off the bottom, toss them away. If I'm making a salad, sometimes I'll cut those up into little pieces so as not to have any waste, so I have no bottom and no top. I'm going to take a slice down the side, open it up like this, scoop out the seeds, and then I'm taking a knife and going, I know you all like when I do this, right across the ribs, and then I'm just going to cut it into big hunks. Actually strips, but I'm not worrying about them being too skinny or too fat. I'm just cutting them up into strips. Bell peppers are really, really good for you. You know, spicy food in general is really good for you. Bell peppers are sweet, and I'm cutting them up, and I'm going to put them right next to the chicken over here. But they're really, really good for you. They are really good for indigestion. I'm cutting the red one now. They're really good for bloating. So even though it doesn't seem like it, if you have eaten too much and you just feel like, blah, that's how I felt last night. I went with my in-laws to a diner last night, and for me, at a diner, there are two things that I order. One of them is an omelet, and one of them is a salad. And yesterday, I had already had eggs for breakfast, and I had had a salad for lunch. So now here we are, not hungry at all because I'm with my in-laws and it's a 5:30 dinner. And I'm at a diner that has a billion things. I just don't know what to get. I'm not hungry, I don't feel like it. So I make them happy and I order a wrap. I don't know why that makes them happy, but it does. I don't really eat the wrap, but I eat the filling of it. And I gotta tell you, it was so much food and it was $5.39 and I really felt like, blah. But bell peppers will help that. I don't still feel that way, but if I did, these would help that. All right, so I'm putting my bell peppers over there also. Now, usually I would put onions on here because I like my fajitas with onions. When I was in the supermarket before, the onions were about the size of my head. I don't know why they had onions this big and they didn't have any regular size one. So I bought a beautiful fresh bunch of scallions. And I am going to use about, I'd say about 4 of them. I'm going to cut off the bottoms, which, by the way, the bottoms of scallions are the most amazing Chinese herb. It's called song bai, and if you ever have a cold, you boil up the scallions with the roots, with some ginger and some tea, and your cold will be gone. I'm going to take these scallions, and I'm going to cut them into big pieces. 1, 2, 3, there. It's actually it's into fifths. I made 4 slices. And I'm going to put these scallions with the peppers on the non-chicken half of this tray. Okay, there we go. Whoops, I'm dragging my towel with me. Okay, so here we have everything on this tray. I'm going to take a little bit more olive oil, I'd say about less than a tablespoon. Drizzle it onto the vegetables, a little bit more salt, and that is it. That is my sheet pan fajitas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in the oven at about 400 degrees, and I think it's going to take maybe a half hour. Probably not. Yeah, maybe a half hour. It takes less time if you use white meat. I've used the dark meat, so it takes a little bit more time. I'm going to say about a half hour at 400 degrees. I'm going to put that in. When I pull this out, the chicken is going to be all cooked and coated, and it's going to be looking a little caramelized. It's going to be delicious. The vegetables are going to be starting to get a little brown on the edges, and because I have it separated into halves, if the vegetables look like they need more time, I'm going to just scoop the chicken out, put the vegetables back in. But normally I can get it done at the same time because I'm not that particular. If my vegetables get a little overcooked, I love that. If the chicken gets a little overcooked, that I don't like so much. So I'm going to play with it. I don't even stir it up. I just put it right in the oven. And like I said, when it comes out and I'm ready to eat later, the only thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to toast up my grain-free tortillas and slice up an avocado. I may make, if I get ambitious, I may make a little of my coconut yogurt into like a crema. So I may put a little lime juice and cilantro in there and make it for a little fajita sauce. But that's it. It's really, really going to take me 5 minutes later. And you saw how long this took. This took probably close to 10 minutes, but only because I was talking so much. Really, if I was doing it without you guys, it would have taken probably 5 minutes. So I'm going to pop this in the oven now, and I'm going to eat later. I wish I had it all done already. You know, in the old days when I was an intern at the Food Network, and we used to cook the meals for the chefs, because I wasn't on camera, I was behind camera, they used to always go, and I cooked this earlier today, and really I was the one that cooked it, and they would pull it out, and it would be awesome. I don't have that kind of staff here, so I'm showing it to you raw, telling you I'm going to eat it later, and I hope you guys try it. I love that you all showed up, and I should have said hello to you all as you came on. Hey, Sophia. Hey, Susan. Hey, everybody else. And make my food. I think you're going to like it. And share the video if you like it, because that helps me out too. Love you guys. Stacy with the Kitchen of Youth, and I will talk to you later.